What about the people that have never heard the gospel of Jesus? Do they go to heaven, hell, something else? What do you think? There are three major answers to this question. The first is pluralism, meaning you can believe whatever you want, any religion you want, and God will save you some way, somehow. That is irrational, unbiblical, clearly not it. Inclusivism is the second one, which means that Jesus is the way to salvation, but at the same time, there's tons of exceptions, depending where you live and who you are, age, stage, all these things. Clearly not biblical. The last is exclusivism, meaning that there is only one salvation, and that is through the name of Jesus. According to Acts 4:12, there is no other name under heaven except through Jesus that we are saved. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says that God has put eternity into man's hearts. He's stamped it on our hearts. He's created us as eternal beings. So we all know that we are eternal, that there is an eternal God, that there is a creator, but we then choose to suppress that truth, which leads us to Romans chapter 1. Romans 1:18 says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth." So with our rebellion against God, through our misbeliefs, our wrong beliefs about God, we suppress the reality and the truth that is within us, that we are eternal beings, that there is an eternal creator, and that there is one who can save, but we suppress it. But then that still doesn't answer the question, what about the people that have never heard of this? It goes on in verse 19 to 20, and it says, "For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been perceived clearly, ever since the creation of the world and the things that have been made, so they are without excuse." So that gives us the answer. People have seen the creation. Anyone who can see what is around them, there is no excuse because they have seen the Creator God. And so there is no excuse for any person on this earth, including the one that may not have heard of the gospel or heard the whole Bible in full. And so there is no one without excuse. And the reality is, those people that have rejected God, it says in verse 23, "Claiming to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal man and birds and animals and creeping things." And it's interesting because a lot of the unreached people groups start worshiping the creation rather than the Creator. And so again, they are without excuse. There is no other way to salvation except through the name of Jesus. But I want to tell you that God is pursuing the people that are in the unreached people groups. There are people, many, having dreams and visions of Jesus. Many Christians being sent and going to the unreached people groups to proclaim the name of Jesus, and people are being saved. And so God has not left and forgotten them, but God is pursuing them. And I want to lastly encourage you, are you being called by God to go to the unreached people groups? There are 43% of unreached people groups, meaning 5,000 of the 17,500 people groups in the world have not been reached with the gospel. They have less than 0.1% of Christians. And so maybe God is calling you to go and share the gospel with the unreached people groups.